huge movie fanatics coming to talk about, I already talked about it myself, but I want to hear what Matt has to say about the Friday the 13th, next Friday the 13th to be, and I guess it is fucking Platinum Dunes.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know at the time whether it was or not. The same goddamn producer of the last tragedy. I just wanted to hear what Matt thinks. A little brief discussion about Friday the 13th found footage Fiasco.
The only thing I like about the idea is that it's something different that the franchise has never seen.
Oh, okay.
But that's not saying much. Like, found footage ones don't really make sense outside of like Blair Witch Project, just because she keeps filming because she just wants to get through it, and she like that's her coping mechanism.
Yeah.
And it kind of worked in Cloverfield because he was just documenting everything that happened as it happened. This was a big catastrophe and stuff, and like that. So it kind of worked for that. And I guess maybe you could excuse the first Paranormal Activity for having it kind of work where they're just trying to film the ghosts that may or not be in the house and whatnot. But even that is at that point is a stretch. I can't see how you could do a slasher flick like that because the moment one person gets killed or you discover one body, bam, you shut that off and you leave. Like,
isn't that something?
As I say, like I applaud them for wanting to be creative and do something different, even though they're ripping off a different franchise. But like, I applaud them for thinking, but it's not gonna pan out. I don't imagine that it would be very good. Or fans certainly are not gonna really like it.
Well, no, if you look at what fans say, they're...
Well, the fan outcry has been so much that, like, I just read an interview last week with the head of Platinum Dunes and asking about what truth there is to that, and he's like, well, it's definitely something we were looking into, but it's not, it's not the direction that we may end up going with. It's just something that we've discussed.
Oh, yeah, right.
And in that same interview, they were asked if there's any movement in Nightmare on Elm Street 2 or another Nightmare on Elm Street, and he's like, we love Freddy, we want to bring him back, but the demand for it hasn't really been there. We haven't had any discussions for it. And it's like, that's sad. Freddy's a much more viable, interesting character to begin with. But after the way they ruined him in the previous one, and like, that actor signed on for 3 movies, so almost definitely have to be him. But anyway. Although Brandon Routh was signed on for like 3 Superman movies, and he did the one.
Oh my gosh! What happens when the studio doesn't want to do it?
I think they probably pay out the contract. Yeah.
God, I hope they don't make these other movies.
Yeah, I know, right? So anyway, I'm not a fan of found footage movies to begin with. It very seldom works, and I can't see how you could do a slasher flick, at least a Jason-style slasher flick like that. You certainly can't do it with like Freddy. Thank God they're not trying that. But like, I don't know. It's just, and they kind of did it a little bit with Halloween Resurrection, didn't they?
Yeah, you could consider it. Yeah.
I mean, they flirted with the idea, and it didn't even really work in that movie. So like, lesson learned, folks.
No, it's not Hollywood. They don't learn.
So.
All right.
I'd be curious to see what the next Friday the 13th installment. They were also toying with the idea of like doing much more like the TV show rather than the where it's not Jason related. It's just something else.
Initial Sean Cunningham idea,
and that might be a more interesting route to go. So I don't know.
All right.
At this point, you couldn't really do that anymore.
Well, probably not.
Far too long.
I think you're right. So since I already talked about it, maybe we'll leave it at that.
I'm assuming you were not a fan of the idea.
Oh no, because I'm not a. To me, you can just make a movie, Friday the 13th movie every year at a lake during the summer with naked girls, and I'm fine. I some things I don't care if it's the same thing over and over. If the formula is what I like. Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem with it, obviously, because I'm a fan of that franchise. So, and obviously, not being a fan of found footage. I mean, mm-hmm. Now there's talk about not even having Jason in it too. So
yeah,
which
I'm fine with it, but at the same time.
Well, okay, so no Jason. Let's say no. It's found footage.
Hey, what's the point of doing?
Where's
Friday the 13th? I mean, I don't know.
All right. Well, if you're done, I'm done. Maybe we'll squeeze a few more little reviews of something in there today. Thanks for watching.